So here's a drawing that many of my students will recognise. Many of you have made something like this with multiple layers. You've laminated up, and to economise, you've put spaces in now. This is just a quick mock-up that I did earlier, just to check that I can draw this quite easily. I've not radius these corners. It's just really I was just playing around with this and haven't put any spaces there. But I will show you how I did this. It is actually quite easy. So let's make a new file. I'm going to press R for the rectangle tool. I'll go click and then click, and then I'm going to type some dimensions. So I'm going to do 120 by 160. Press enter. I'll press Shift Z to zoom to the extents. P for the push pull tool, and I'll just pull up, release, and then I'll type 4 because 4mm is the thickness of MDF. And then I want to radius these corners. I'm not going to radius all the corners. You probably should if that's what you're actually making, but I'm just going to speed things up. So let's just go in 10mm, go in, and then 10mm. So I've now got the center point of my arc. So that's going to be useful maybe for drawing later. And I'll press A for the arc tool. I'll go click once, click twice that, and then P for the push pull tool. And I'll just push that corner out the way. Now, like I say, you will have done the guides on all the sides. You will have radiused all the corners before you do the next step. So I'm going to triple click. I'll just zoom out a little bit. Press M for the move tool, and I'll press and hold the control key on the keyboard, and I'm just going to drag that away. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because probably later on you will then use that, say maybe to be like the top layer, something like that. But for the moment, I'm just going to leave it there. Next thing then, tape measure, and I'm going to go in this time, say 25mm, and so I'll go in 25mm. So what I'm now defining is like the cutout middle bit. So let's do this as quick as we can. And then radius, sorry, not radius, rectangle, after rectangle, and then click there, and then push pull tool, and I'm going to push down, and I'm going to type 4, and then that gets really fixed. Remember the material was 4mm thick. And so once you've done that, then use the circle tool. And of course you could save this, as you're going along. I'm not going to bother. Circle tool that, and I'm going to click on that intersection, and I'm going to go to that point there, and then push pull tool, I'm going to pull up, and then 4mm. So that's my spacer. Now I would go all the way around, do spaces in all 4 corners, and then once I've done that, I'm going to go click, click, click. So that's triple click, and you can see I've selected everything. When I say everything, everything that's like joined together, but not that thing over there. And I'll right click, and then I'm going to make that a group. Having made that a group, it now becomes quite easy to copy. So now I'm going to press the M key for the move tool, and just like when I copied that thing over there, I'm going to now control and then drag, and you see now I've got a copy, and you see that point there, I'm going to drag that up, and that's going to sit there. See how that sits perfectly? And that was really incredibly easy, wasn't it? So now let's just do M, and I'm going to just drag that group off, and then I'm going to go there, pop that on there. Now I know that people are struggling, they didn't know how to do this, fair enough, I didn't show you, but now you can see how easy it is. So I'm going to do control with the move tool selected, remember, and then like that. It really is ridiculously easy, isn't it? Now, of course, you would have had spaces in all 4 corners. And then all that's going to be left for you then is you're going to drag that thing, presumably set that on the top, maybe have one on the bottom as well. Maybe you're going to have some spaces somewhere. I don't know. That's up to you. You're probably going to have cutouts for switches, LEDs, everything like that. But I mean, essentially, you can see how incredibly easy that was to do. Now, other things that might, hang on, I didn't mean to do that. Other things that might be worthwhile noting, you might, have a play around with this, but you might want to change the colours and things of one of those groups before you keep on duplicating it, because otherwise you're just going to have to Once you've copied all these layers, then you're going to have to separately do all the layers. Other things you could possibly do, maybe you don't want to save it as a group, maybe you want to save it as a component. There's a whole load of options, some of which I know about, some I don't, so have a play around. But the way I've shown you here with the grouping and the move tool and then control dragging, I would say seems like far the easiest way to make a multi-layered construction. So hopefully if you're one of those students who's been was trying to do this earlier today, now you've seen the video, you see how you can probably draw your product in about 10 minutes or so. So good luck with that.